Representative Wilbert Lee. Representative Lee, good morning to you.
Good morning, Karen, and to all the viewers. Thank you for the opportunity to join you today.
All right. Now, what do you make of the Department of Agriculture's plan to essentially declare a food security emergency this February?
Well, for me, declaring a food security emergency is a step in the right direction to ease the burden of our countrymen amid high prices of rice. No? But this is just a temporary measure. While we implement short-term solutions such as this food security emergency, we also need to start pushing for long-term solution to bring down the price of rice. What is this long-term solution? For the government to prioritize providing more support to our farmers, no, which I consider or call our food security soldiers, no. It, Karen, for me, food security is a national security issue, no. And when you say it is a national security issue, it should automatically considered an expense item in the government, no.
Okay.
Buhusan ito ng pondo imbis na nabawasan.
Okay, pag-usapan natin yan mamaya, no, yung pagtulong sa ating mga magsasaka. But let's talk about Executive Order 62. With Executive Order 62, this reduces tariffs on rice imports from 35% to 15%. Globally, the price of rice is declining. And yet, sa Pilipinas, mataas. Ang tanong, bakit? Even after Executive Order 62 and declining global prices, what is the problem in the Philippines?
Well, first of all,
Please
Karen,
enumerate. Anong problema?
well, first of all, no, during the last hearing, no, we have heard that prices should be around, no, but from reducing it from to 15%, no, from 35%, the prices of rice should be around 30 pesos, no. Pero what's happening is hindi po nangyayari ito, no, because according to our custom collectors, 5 to 7 pesos per kilo yung ibinaba dapat nito, no, pero hindi po ito nangyayari, no. So we have, I think, the important thing here is to strictly monitor ito pong mga pumapasok.
Pero ang tanong, bakit? Yun nga, may executive order na ang Pangulo. All over the world, bumababa. So bakit dito hindi nasusunod? Ba't di bumababa?
Well, una sa lahat kasi, no, hindi natin monitor, no, doon sa last hearing, iba-iba yung datos, na iba-iba yung data talaga nakukuha natin from the DA, no. Una sa lahat, no, itong mga pumapasok na bigas, this imported na mga pumapasok, hindi natin nalalaman kung saan nagdadala, no. Dito po sa ating pong mga batas na iniakda, no, the Anti-Agricultural Smuggling Economic Sabotage Act, dapat po dito ma-monitor strictly all those ito pong mga manipulators, price manipulators, hoarders, and everything, no. Ito pong mga warehouses natin, no. As of 2024, 624 warehouses lang ang na-register, no. Yun lang po ang na-register natin, no, out of the 1,000 plus warehouses, no. So hindi natin nalalaman itong mga dumarating na to kung saan napupunta, saan nilalagay.
So, ang tanong ko, you're saying it's a problem of enforcement.
Yes, correct.
Okay, but what if a price cap is issued? Will this work for the market, considering the president has given an executive order? What if in the market, it should be capped at 35 pesos? Ito yung maximum. Will that work? Or it's against, I know it's against, alam mo yun, free market prices. But then, nag-executive order na nga eh.
Well, temporarily, no, Karen, to ease the burden, no, and to para matawid lang natin, no. Pero the president has already said, or the secretary has said, that maximum of 10 pesos lang dapat ang kinikita dito sa mga imported prices, no. And he has set an MSRP of 58 pesos as of today, no. And tinanggal niya yung mga label, no. You know, the problem naman dito sa pagtanggal sa mga label na to, ang kinatatakutan naman natin dito, baka itong mga imported na to ay maisama naman, no, at may palabas na parang lokal, no. I think the most important pa rin are yung sinasabi mo kanina na strict enforcement of existing laws. No? Ito po yung hindi natin. And the DA has also admitted na wala silang ito pong police power, no, hindi sila makapaghuli, no, they have to coordinate with different agencies. I think ito po yung isang talagang pinakamalaking issue dito, yung strict enforcement, no. Kailangan kasi, Karen, meron talagang masampola, no, hindi pwedeng puro pag-file lang ng kaso, hindi pwedeng sampaan lang ng kaso, and then wala pong nangyayari, no. So I think ang pinaka-issue really is strict enforcement ng mga nung batas, no, na nandito sa atin, no. Ito na lang example yung ang sinasabi kong warehouse, no. 624 warehouses lang ang narehistro na monitor ng DA. Itong under dito sa batas natin, kailangan every month mag-submit itong mga warehouse na to kung ano yung laman nila, ano yung stock nila, saan galing, saan napunta, no? So hindi natin na monitor more than half of these warehouses kung saan napupunta yung mga laman po nito.
Oh, now the rice tarification law that was essentially created to for customers to avail of cheaper rice in the market, and yet it didn't happen. Hindi nangyari, right?
Correct. Yes.
Essentially, it's supposed to also help the farmers. I think with 10 billion a year, right?
No.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the projection for this year will increase to 30 billion actually, no? So 3 times the dati
But
it's
what
10.
went wrong? What went wrong? Why aren't our farmers and even the consumers experiencing the benefits of the rice tarification law?
Well, gaya ng sabi ko, Karen, hindi natin nalalaman, no, kung ano ang nangyayari, saan napupunta, no. Itong mga warehouses, very important na ma-monitor natin ito because dito po nangyayari
Yeah,
yung...
but who is accountable for this? Ang mahirap naman tumira sa isang bansa na yung mga leaders, we don't know where it's going. It's so strange. So who is accountable? Whose job is this?
Well, according to the DA, they are coordinating with the Custom Bureau of Custom, the police, the NBI, and everything to go after all of this. So, yan yung problema, Karen. Wala raw silang police power, no? Ako, dun sa, based on the last hearing nung Quintacom, yun yung isang problemang lumalabas, no? Na yung DA sinasabi nila, their hands are tied because wala silang police power. Hindi nila malaman, they can go after all of this, no? Yung pong isang problem really is hindi natin ma-monitor kung saan napupunta. Gaya na sabi ko kanina, yung pong mga warehouses, very important ito, no? We have more than 1,000 warehouses na nakarehistro, banded warehouses, and yet 624 lang po ngayon ang nakaregister sa DA, no? So ito po ang isang malaking issue dito, napakahalaga nito.
So,
And
which agency is in charge of the warehouses?
DA, the Department of Agriculture. The Department of Agriculture. That is why, ngayon tinatanong natin, bakit po hindi ito narirehistro? Bakit hindi ninyo ito aggressively ginagawa? No? So ito po ang nangyayari dyan. No? So, kaya because of this, yung data na nakukuha po natin ay iba-iba rin. No? Halos hindi po magkakapareho. No? So, iba yung nagiging data ng DA, iba yung nagiging data ng Custom. Yeah.
Yes. But then you said the Department of Agriculture Secretary already said, is it right to say he did not give a price, but he said you said that there was a cap, right?
Yeah. He
A 10
said that,
pesos increase.
yeah, he said that maximum profit should be 10 pesos and the MSRP should be 58 pesos for imported rices.
Oo. So ang mahirap, we showed it on TV Patrol. Some of them have labeled it imported rice pero local pala.
Yes, on the other way around din, pwede rin kasi ang kinatatakutan ng marami dito, Karen, yung imported baka gawing local, no? Kasi hindi nga natin ma-monitor ito mga
Pero kung yung imported gawing local, that's better for the consumer. Ang nakakadaya sa consumer is local yun, pepresyohan mo ng imported dahil mas mataas.
No, supposedly imported rice are cheaper dapat, no? So ito yung nakakatakot kasi pag yung imported ginawa mong local, magiging mas mahal, no? So because local rice are dapat more expensive than the imported ones, no?
No. But then what the DA actually, when they did a market tour, because the quality of the imported rice, medyo yung iba higher grade, mas mataas yung quality. So hinahanap yun ng consumer. Ang nangyari is local, tapos ni-label imported, mas mataas ang presyo.
Yes, pwede rin mangyari ito nung
Yun nga, oo.
yeah, because nung tinanggal yung labeling, no, yung labeling ng rice.
Oh, okay, and then you actually are pushing for the Cheaper Rice Act. This is House Bill 9020. It's pending at the committee level. But what difference will that make compared to the Rice Tarification Act?
Well, the Cheaper Rice Act, this is precisely the intent, no, yung ng ating House Bill 9020 for NFA to buy locally produced rice from farmers or farmers cooperative and sell it at a lower price, no. We filed this last August 2023. Sa panukala natin nito, Karen, bibilhin ng gobyerno ang palay mula sa lokal na magsasaka sa mas mataas na presyo or may patong na 5 to 10 pesos. Therefore, local farmers will have higher income and will be enticed to produce more, which will result in more supply and lower prices in the market, no. Masusolusyonan din natin dito yung nakikita natin na problema na mauubos na raw yung mga magsasaka natin sa susunod na dekada dahil bukod pa sa may mga edad na ito, wala nang gustong magsaka, no, kasi binibenta na lang ang lupa nila dahil wala nang kita, no. Hindi pa umaani, may utang na, no. Pero kung masisigurado yung kita nila, wala na siguro makakaisip na ibenta o tumigil na ang lupa o
Okay.
ibenta lupa nila.
Oo. Now, under the Cheaper Rice Act, you propose a price subsidy program that requires the Department of Agriculture to buy local palay at 5 to 10 pesos above the prevailing farm gate prices. That's to increase the income of the farmers. Pero
Yes.
kailangan pa ba ng batas dyan? Or pwede na lang, frankly speaking, iutos ito ng presidente at gawin na lang ng DA? Bakit batas pa? Can't they do this? Can't they implement this now?
Yeah, they can actually, no, through an executive order, but what we want is to institutionalize this, no. Alam naman natin ang nangyayari dito, Karen, sad reality, no. Pag nagbago yung administrasyon, nababago, no. So ang gusto natin mangyari is to pass a law that will institutionalize ito pong gusto nating mangyari na bilhin yung palay sa mga lokal na magsasaka ng mas mataas, no. So gusto natin na maging batas ito para kahit anong administrasyon, no, any administration ang dumating ay nandiyan na po ito, no, nakalagay na, no. Nakita natin na nababago ito, no, kahit maganda, kapag merong bagong administrasyon, nababago na naman po, no, nawawala, no. So ito yung gusto natin, no, na ma-institutionalize ito. Ito pong ating pong House Bill na to, this will also liberate farmers from the control of abusive traders and middleman dahil gobyerno na nga ang bibili sa ating mga lokal na magsasaka. At mapipilitan din itong mga middlemen and itong mga traders na sumunod, no, itaas yung presyo, no, kung gusto nilang bilhin.
Oo. Okay. All right. Anything you would like to add, Representative Lee, as the government declares the food security emergency? Kasi after this is for palay, but it seems that they're also concerned about an egg supply shortage.
Yes, that's right, no. The secretary has said that this coming April baka magkaroon po tayo ng shortage, no, sa egg, no. Ito po yung nangyari because last year nagkaroon po ng oversupply, nalugi yung ating pong mga breeder, ito pong mga egg industry natin, nalugi sila dahil nagkaroon ng oversupply, no. So ang ginawa nila, kinal nila o pinatay nila yung mga egg laying hen nila, no, yung mga manok, no. So ngayon nagkakaroon naman ng shortage dito, no. So I think ang problema naman natin dito, Karen, wala po tayong nakalatag na pondo para naman suporta sa itong mga local egg industry dito, no. Ito yung unang-una natin na gagawin dapat, no. And then wala tayong suporta sa kanila, walang puhunan, walang kapital tayo na nakalatag para sa kanila, no. Kailangan nila mag-import ngayon muna ng mga egg laying hen, no, para po dito mapunuan itong shortage na to, no. Talking about yung kanina yung sinasabi ninyo, yung food emergency, while we support the declaration of national food emergency, such a measure would be useless, sinasabi ko nga, Karen, unless the government takes decisive action against cartels and price manipulators, those purposely withholding rice tax in order to artificially inflate the market price, no. Ito po yung napaka-importante, no. As the principal author of the Republic Act 12022 or the Anti-Agricultural Economic Sabotage Act, we believe that it should be implemented properly. Gaya ng sabi ko, Karen, dapat may masampulan dito o makulong, hindi yung hanggang pagsasampa lang tayo ng kaso talaga dito.
Oo. And representatively, I think we are hitting, this would be close to 3 years of the Marcos administration.
Yes.
If he is unable to solve the price of rice, basic goods, what reflection or what effect would this have on his legacy, on his own leadership?
Well, I think para sa akin kasi, Karen, no, any government, the main responsibility is really pagkain ng tao, no, and then sunod yung kalusugan, no. So I think these two ang dapat talagang tutukan, no. The government or the president has said during the start of his term that agriculture will be his priority, no. But hindi po natin nakikita ito actually, no. Why? Because yung budget ng agriculture, while tumataas, no, every year, no, on an average of 10 billion, it's not enough, no. If the priority is really agriculture, dapat doble sana ang budget dito man lang, no. One example is our rice production budget, no. Instead na tumaas, naging mababa. Last year, we have, I think, 30 billion plus 32 billion, if I'm not mistaken. This year, we only have allocated or appropriated 21 billion.
Oo.
Our
Parang
rice-
binawasan pa. So we are not putting our money where our mouth is.
Yes, correct.
But is that problematic, frankly, of this administration? Well, Congress, essentially with a NEP that the executive submitted, it was unrecognizable when it passed through Congress, right? So ang agri is one, DepEd, priority daw ng administrasyong ito, tatanggalan ng 10 billion. Now, the computerization will come from unprogrammed funds. And it's sad what you all have is AKAP, which is another form of pork barrel. Roughly 26 billion in the lower house, 5 billion in the Senate. So 31 billion which could have gone to an agency like the DA na uwi sa pork.
Yes, correct, Karen. No, I think ito po yung talagang issue, no, yung sinabi ko nga, no, if if agriculture yung priority talaga, bakit, no? During the last plenary hearing on the budget of DA, I've also asked this, no, yung pong isa pang issue, and for several years already, no, tinatanong ko lagi na, and we know for a fact na ang problema lagi ng mga magsasaka yung ating pong post-harvest facility, no. Isa pa po ito, no, during
Hanggang ngayon?
2023.
I mean, seriously, so it's 2025. These post-harvest facilities, I've been a journalist for 34 years. Ito lagi ang sinasabi. Are you saying that not enough money has been put, it's the 21st century already, to our post-harvest facilities?
2023 pre-harvest facility, pre-harvest budget is 47 billion, and then allocated 17 or appropriated 17 billion for post-harvest, no. I've been fighting for this 2024 last year. we have appropriated 56 billion for pre-harvest and 16 billion for post-harvest. This year, 58 billion ang pre-harvest, naging 12 billion na lang yung post-harvest. Wala diba, no? So, I think ito yung isang issue rin dito, no? Bakit, imbis na, kung hindi man sana mapantayan yung pre-harvest, at least kalahati man lang ng pre-harvest, yung budget ng post-harvest, no? But this year, instead na mataas, naging...
Did the lower house decrease it, or did a lower budget come from the executive?
I think the DA has proposed for a higher
Yes.
budget, but the DBM has slashed it, no? And then hindi ko na po alam nangyari pagdating din po dun sa sa Senate, no? So but during the plenary deliberation, I've already ano ko na po to, kinall out, and then